Celebritarians. No one gives a fuck about your goddamn dad rock. By Jim Jesus. December 26, 2017. This is an intervention. Someone probably gave you this because they were tired of you constantly going around thinking you were woke or red-pilled on music because you listen to prog rock. I'm here to tell you, with tough love, that you are not. Before I sink my teeth in, and goddamn am I going to, I need to give a bit of context about me. I like prog rock and classic rock. I have the vinyl to prove it. I own albums by Pink Floyd, Rush, Ozzy Osbourne, Dio, Led Zeppelin, you name it. Specifically, Dark Side of the Moon alone, I have a Dark Side of the Moon flag, a 180-gram pressing of the album, which came with posters I have hanging in the very room that I write this. My mother, who was a masterful quilt maker, made me a quilt that bears an uncanny resemblance to the cover art that made people fall in love with Strom Thurgerson. My goal here is not to bash that music. It's not about the music. It is, however, about you. How many times have I heard a podcast, great podcast, by the way, about all kinds of things that would break format just to have the host go on about how all the music out today is terrible, and if they only could just spend one more hour with moving pictures. How could anybody stand Miley Cyrus? Have they even heard Heart of the Sunrise? What is wrong with these people? Nothing. People have bad taste in music. It's a tale as old as time. It's also a generational thing. Every generation has its Nirvana, a new band or popular genre that upsets the apple cart. The band that comes in with a hit single that sparks a revolution that washes out the old and brings in the new. Those who have built their entire identity on the old gets enraged at the new sounds of the era. Sure, sometimes it's not that good. Sure, the fans of that new thing can be kind of annoying. Yes, trends are concerning, even for me. What's equally problematic are the peoples whose musical scope are extremely limited and they become evangelists. You are also a problem. Sure, I hate it when I hang out with a new friend and all they want to listen to is EDM or whatever garbage is on the top 40. What's equally annoying is when they can't listen to anything but Queen and they feel like they have the key to a world unknown by the general population, that they hold the secret to the musical salvation. And if only someone could just try and listen to Aqualung, I'm here to tell you that they have, and I don't find it that special, and they're right. We have all heard Dark Side of the Moon a million times. It's not a closely guarded secret, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's everywhere. It's in upcoming movies, video games, on radio stations, even ones that play current rock. It's played ad nauseum in bars, restaurants, and even doctor's office. I even hear Muzak versions of it in fucking Walgreens. Rush. Celebritarians can't shut the fuck up about Rush. It's almost a prerequisite to never shut the fuck up about Rush to get anywhere in Liberty circles. Why? Because they are Randians, and they talk about it in their music. That's really what it boils down to. Sure, they make good music, but that's not the real reason why they like them so fucking much. Canada only jizzes all over them because it's their only decent export outside of electricity and maple syrup. Geddy Lee is a great bass player, but he's no Les Claypool. Neil Peart is an amazing drummer, but I've heard stuff from the Mars Volta's Tim Pridgeon that impressed me far more. And if you bring up Alex Lifton as if he's some sort of revolutionary guitarist, I'll call you a fucking liar. He is great, but he is not a great. Again, Rush is a good band, but it's nothing new. Their first album came out almost 10 years before I was born, and it's still getting a lot of mainstream airtime. Hell, I bet my nephews could even sing the lyrics to Tom Sawyer, or at least get through Working Man on one of those Guitar Hero or Rock Band games. I talk a lot about the band The Residents. I evangelize about them a lot, mostly because I know that my audience has probably never heard them. Even people of their day haven't even heard of them, even back when they used to get play on MTV. Even if you would have heard of them, chances are you hated them. I provided people with an avenue to be interested in them, giving them primers on where to start, and if they didn't like them, at least give them the knowledge to appreciate what they have done. I got a lot of interesting feedback on how they felt about their body of work, both negative and positive. What I didn't do is insult their intelligence by insinuating they've never heard Nirvana before, and if they had only have, we had never would have seen the likes of One Direction. You are a hipster. And nobody likes a fucking hipster. Hipster of the worst kind. A hipster who thinks that he like obscure stuff, but really it's just a staple of mainstream culture. I don't need to hear about your hour-long podcast about how dumb kids are these days because they've never seen The Wall. They have. I don't need you to regale me about how bad Carly Rae Jepsen is compared to King Crimson. I know, there are lots of bands out here today who take a lot of influence from these bands who make interesting stuff. Richelieu, Closure in Moscow, Tool. They'll come out with an album any day now, I swear. The two guys from the Mars Volta and all of their projects, and more than I could possibly name. Not to mention a revival in prog rock's precursor, psychedelic rock, that borrows a lot of stuff from prog rock and classic rock like Pond. There is a wide world of rock music out there. Pass the dial and you're still on the dial. You didn't find the Holy Grail. You found a type of beer glass that nearly everybody owns. Stop fooling yourself and stop wasting my time. Worms.